the Directorate General for Digital Services. It's a pleasure to be here. I would like to thank you on behalf of the European Commission for inviting us to this event. Before going ahead, I think it's important to spend just 1 minute to put things in perspective. As you can see in this diagram, we have evolved from a model where users could access to digital information, but in a passive way, just consuming information, the model of Web 1. Then Web 2 came with a revolution. The users become the main actor in the creation of the contents, but in a model that it was quite asymmetric. The user could share and provide a lot of information, but in a model that we have a dependency of a big platform. The network becomes, as we said, a very big platform where the data is centralized and the network is based on services that are so centralized in platform, where we can quickly exchange a lot of information, but at which cost? We can see that in this model, our identity, directly or indirectly, is revealed in every interaction. We have a situation where citizens, they are not owner of their own information and they don't have control of their personal data. The information is living in centralized online platform, sometimes outside of the European Union. This model, as you know, it has great concerns regarding privacy and information security. The reply from the European Commission is clear. For example, we have here the DMA, the Digital Market Act, and the Digital Service Act to ensure fairness of services. This is in line also with a growing interest to decentralize the network. I mean, a network based on decentralized services and repositories with more fairness, privacy, and security. And we have the possibility of using technologies like digital wallets, digital tokens, and blockchain that are key to implement this decentralization. So we have here the possibility of using blockchain, a technology, to build trust in the verification of our information in this new model of the web. Yeah. Sorry, I see that it's frozen. Okay, yeah. If we look back, we will see here that Europe has become dependent on the technology provided by non-European actors, and our data and our services rely on non-European big platforms. The position of the European Union is clear. We want to promote the European digital sovereignty and technological independence. The European Union is also contributing with regulations. We have included here only a few. But the question here would be, what about building systems that are designed to avoid this concentration of power? What about building systems that are decentralized by design? So we are today in an historical and also geopolitical opportunity to start building the digital future of Europe using technologies that they have the same principles of fairness, transparency, and democracy that these European regulations are targeting. In other words, we have the possibility of building the future of Europe with Web3 technologies. And the message of the European Commission is clear. Blockchain was identified as one of the key technologies to achieve the targets of the Digital Decade program. In this program, the European Commission included a set of technologies that will be key to achieve a set of objectives, like, for example, the full digitalization of digital services for citizens and for legal entities. In EBSI, we have proved the relevant and the added value of blockchain technologies in concrete applications. In some use cases, for example, the track and trace of information in the supply chain, the verification of digital information, how to fight against counterfeited products, or how to protect intellectual property rights. But now let's jump to the challenges of verification of digital information. As we can see in this slide, verification matters, and it has become a cumbersome issue to solve in Europe. Following a report of the European Union Intellectual Property Office, close to the 9% of European Union consumers were tricked into buying a fake product, which represents close to the 6% of imports on Europe. This means a big problem, a business volume of billions of euros. As you can see, this is a very big problem in Europe. And the question here will be how to implement a secure and reliable mechanisms to provide digital verification. In other words, which could be a solution to fight against this huge problem. So we see that the vaccine is the antidote against the virus. So verification is the antidote against fake information. And now we can see a concrete example of how verification can be implemented in many ways. We see here a European citizen stating that he studied economics. Can we trust in this information? Can we trust in this claim? Can we prove if the information is true? First, for example, we can search in Google if this information is true. We can quickly obtain some information, but the added value of the information, the reliability, the trust in the information is not very high. Then we can ask to provide a PDF version of the diploma. This procedure will take some time. We can achieve a higher level of trust, but as you know, a PDF can also be modified and faked. For a higher level of trust, we can ask for a paper document, the paper version of the diploma. We have more trust, but it will take some time. And we can also contact directly the university. So we can see that we are achieving higher level of trust and confidence in the information, but we have to execute procedures that are costly and take more time and effort. So based on this quick assessment, we will see that the optimal solution will be in the first quadrant. So solutions that are providing the best level of trust and confidence are solutions that are at the same time quick and easy to implement. For example, we can trust in service providers that could play this role of providing a quick and secure verification as they are controlling the data and the sources of data. But with this approach, we are following the current situation that we have today, a huge dependency and concentration of power and information in non-European Union data providers. These service providers, for example, they can cancel account or they can ask for a high fee or restrict the access to the information. The question here, can we use Web3 technologies like blockchain, verified credentials, and digital wallets as an alternative to these service providers? Can these technologies provide an easy, cheap, and secure way for the verification of digital information? So this is exactly what we have been implementing and testing in EBSI. We have piloted and executed different tests, different pilots with public bodies, companies, citizens, and also internally in the European Commission. So the question here, can these technologies be the reply to the verification solutions that the society is demanding? This is in practice the model that we have implemented in EBSI. So we have citizens, companies that they own information. This information can be stored in digital wallets. We have some actors, issuers of this information, that they are storing the public keys, their accreditations in blockchain. And we have verifiers that are accessing to the information that is provided by citizens using digital wallets. They are accessing to the information to verify, for example, this verified credential using the information that is stored in blockchain. In EBSI, we are following a minimalistic approach to register information on-chain. And thanks to this model, we are implementing what we call calling home, the verifier asking directly to the user of this information. The information is obtained by a decentralized network, a blockchain network provided by the member state. So thanks to this, we are providing a privacy-preserving solution for the verification of information. The EBSI solution, the EBSI initiative, is based on a set of technical foundation. We have created the verifiable credential framework, which is a whole set of specifications to issue, revoke, and verify digital credentials, but also to link a legal entity with the credential or to digitally sign, aligned with European and international standards. We have implemented also a whole set of specifications for wallets to facilitate the interoperability between them. We have designed a trust model for issuers, which is flexible enough to represent the digital trust in different domains, storing trust anchors in the blockchain. And we have also deployed a set of networks based on blockchain technology to act as a public decentralized infrastructure, very secure, and with a high level of resilience to provide a source of information. We mentioned that in EBSI, we are implementing a trust model. Basically, we can see here that we have implemented the same model that we have built in Europe all these years. So we have actors that can do things, for example, issuers to create digital credentials, and we have other actors that are accrediting this actor to issue these credentials. So following the example of a digital diploma of a university, we can see that the root of trust, the trust anchor, will be the Ministry of Education, for example. They can accredit other actors, for example, regional bodies that will at the same time accredit, for example, public universities with a verifiable diploma. All the information, all the trust chain can be stored on blockchain. And the question is, why blockchain to register these trust anchors? Why blockchain as an implementation of an electronic ledger has been selected by EBSI as the reliant technology to implement these trust anchors? The question is quite easy. If we look for the desirable characteristic, the desirable properties of an implementation of a digital trust infrastructure, we can quickly agree that we will need a set of properties like the resilience, avoiding a single point of failure. The information should be highly available and with offering a high level of performance, implemented in a common format that can be human readable, machine readable, very easy to access, scalable, resistant to cyber attacks. Decoupling the issuance from the verification, what we said to avoid the calling home, presenting privacy and security concerns. And, if possible, the implementation of a canonical set of data records, a canonical proof of historical information. For example, a university, this is the current public key to verify a diploma, but also being able to access to the public key that was valid 1 year ago. So if we follow different models to implement these trust anchors, we can see that the information can be stored in static files, can work for some initiatives today. But if we are adding the business requirements and security properties that we have seen, if we add, for example, synchronization, replication, traceability, accountability, we can go to a model that is closer to a distributed database. But if we are adding all these properties, we are easily reaching the model that is implemented by a DLT, by a distributed ledger technology. For example, blockchain, that is the model that we are using in EBSI, a network provided by the member state and supported by the European Commission. If we quickly think these security properties, we can see that if we are using a static file that is signed, it's providing some security properties that maybe can be valid enough, for example, integrity, authenticity, and proof of existence. If we add some security properties, for example, the information is replicated, distributed, resilience, and is offered under a high performance, we can advance to the model of the distributed database. But if we implement a solution based on blockchain, we can achieve other properties like the accountability, who is doing what, a chronological set of data record, an immutable registry where the access management is provided in an accountable way and incorporated out of the box by the blockchain technology. The information is stored in an immutable registry, so the information cannot be deleted. And the integrity and the tamper-proof protection is provided by the network itself, not by single nodes. And just to mention that if we want to implement this trust anchor on blockchain, this is complementing the traditional public key infrastructure, the traditional PKI model, what is known by the model of the distributed PKI. And I can quickly explain here. In EBSI, we are storing the accreditation, for example, of a university and the public key of a university in blockchain. The accreditation is linked to the cryptographic identifier of the issuer, which is known also the DID or the decentralized identifier. Thanks to this model, the issuer can rotate as many times as they want the public key. The information is stored in the ledger, in the blockchain, it's always there. We are keeping an immutable registry to store the canonical set of data records, so the verifiers can come back in time and obtain the public key that was valid, for example, 1 year ago. And if we compare an electronic ledger with other trust services, we can see that, for example, we have electronic signatures or electronic seals that they are ensuring authenticity, integrity, and non-repudiation. We have timestamps that is ensuring the proof of existence, but we have the role of the electronic ledgers that they are providing immutability. Ledgers are ensuring that the information cannot be removed or modified. The ledgers, like blockchain, they are also providing a chronological sequence that ensures the verification of data in the past. And a model based on this example of a distributed PKI, based on verifiable attestations and decentralized identifier is implying that if a key is compromised, the issuers can minimize the impact as less verifiable credential will be signed with same key. So we are providing an easy and quick key rotation. So the accreditation of, for example, of a university is linked with this identifier, what is called the decentralized identifier and meaningless identifier, and the issuers can rotate as many times as they want their signing keys. So as you can see, this is an example. We can issue digital diplomas, for example, a university. The accreditation is fixed on blockchain. The accreditation link with a university is stored in the blockchain. The university, they can rotate every day, every month, their signing keys. They can rotate the information regarding the public key on chain. And therefore, if the key is compromised, the impact of this eventual compromise of the private key is minimized as less verified credential will be signed with the same key. And just to comment here that the European Blockchain Service Infrastructure, EBSI, is aligned with the model of an European and sovereign open source and resilient blockchain initiative. So as you can see, we are presenting here the different components of a full stack. So we have infrastructure that is managed by the European Commission or by the member state. We are building a decentralized and sovereign blockchain network over this infrastructure. And upon this, we are providing software, for example, wallet conformance testing to ensure the interoperability between wallets, a set of orchestration tools and dashboard that are managed by the European Commission to manage this blockchain network. We are providing an image, which is called the EBSI node, that this virtual image is shared with the member state, and they are implementing this node into their data center, into their virtual instances. Upon this, we are building a set of specifications, the EBSI verified credentials for issue, store, and verify verified credentials, and a set of services, for example, conformance services for issuers, wallets, and verifiers, a set of tools to orchestrate the network, the EBSI trusted registries to store all this information that we have commented before to allow the digital verification of information. And what is ongoing now, we are implementing a tokenization platform for new use cases that are based on digital tokens. This initiative, EBSI, our specifications and our network, it has already been tested by more than 25 projects. We are presenting this information like in a triangle of verification of documents, of people and companies, verification of products and information related with traceability, and verification of legal entities. So that's all from our side. Thanks a lot. You can contact me, and you can contact our colleagues in the functional mailbox of the European Commission. Also obtain more information regarding EBSI in the website. So thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Now I will pass the floor to my colleague Vicente.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Vicente, do you have your slides to share? Otherwise, I can share them here as well.
No, I can share them if you want.
That's great. Then we can also see you on the screen.
And I hope that you will be able to see the slides soon.
Yep, that works. We can see them.
Okay.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah. I am Vicente Andreu, and I'm a policy officer in DG Connect H4, DG, a different DG that one that José Manuel who has just intervened belongs to. We are dealing with. I work in a unit that is called Digital Identity and Trust, and we are basically devoted to the development of the new EU Digital Identity and Trust Services framework. I will try to present it very briefly because there is a lot to explain on it. But first, let me speak about. I will give you an overview of the whole framework. Then we will spend some time talking about what is the EU Digital Identity Wallet. What is the concept of the EU Digital Identity Wallet? And I will try to talk also about the trust services, the new ones that have been introduced by the new framework. And finally, I will give you some hints on the international cooperation that the Commission is currently envisaging around this digital identity framework. So let's start with an overview of the EU Digital Identity Framework. The Digital Identity Framework is based on three main pillars. The first one are trust services. The second one are eIDAS schemes. Member states must notify the European Commission they are electronic identification schemes that already existed with the previous regulation. And the new element of the new framework that entered into force last year was the EU Digital Identity Wallets. EU Digital Identity Wallets will be issued by member states. They will be built to a common set of standards and specifications. And currently we're developing the technical regulations and specifications that are needed to implement and develop them. How are we developing this new digital identity framework? We have been working during the last years in parallel in the legal and governance side of the framework and on the technical side. On the legal side, we have developed the regulation, and we are currently finalizing the adoption of some implementing acts that contain, as I mentioned before, some or most of the technical specification and requirements for the development of the framework. We have created also a governance framework that is basically represented by the European Digital Identity Cooperation Group, where all member states, different levels are being represented. And on the technical side, we have been developing a toolbox which contains an architectural reference framework and listing of best practices that have been consolidated around the wallet. And we have built a reference implementation, a prototype of the wallet that has been tested in large-scale pilots, that is being tested also in some specific co-creation events. One of them will take place in December in Brussels, a launchpad event around the wallet. And we are working also in parallel in the integration of all the elements, because the EU Digital Identity Wallet basically pursues to offer a safe, reliable, and private means of digital identification for EU citizens, but it has three main functionalities that are the ones that you have now in the slides. The wallet will enable citizens to identify and authenticate both online and in proximity use cases. The wallet will be able to store and share the data, basically what we call electronic attestation of attributes in the framework, but you can understand that as digital credentials. And the wallet will be also will contain also the functionality, will implement the functionality of electronic signature, and will allow citizens to issue electronic signatures at the highest level of trust, at the qualified level. So these are the three main functionalities. The wallets will be issued mandatorily by member states. They are free for citizens, and citizens may use them on a voluntary basis. Member states are mandated, they are obliged to issue at least one EU digital identity wallet, but citizens may or may not use this digital identity wallet. The wallet will be accepted throughout the Union. Any digital identity wallet issued by a member state to citizens or residents will be valid throughout the Union. And there are some obligations for private and public service providers to accept authentication and provision of attributes by this digital identity wallet. And one fundamental aspect of the wallet is that we have put the focus on security and on privacy. Citizens that use the wallet will always have the control over the data that they are sharing. So the wallet will be designed, not only the wallet, but the ecosystem of the wallet and the interaction with any relying parties is being designed in order to protect identity, to protect personal data, and to protect the security of the digital assets that the citizen may store in these identity wallets. As I mentioned before, there is a mandate for member states to issue at least one digital identity wallet, but there is not a provision stating or establishing that each member state can only provide one digital identity wallet. Member states are free to decide to which digital identity wallets they are able to issue their electronic identification means. So there may be more than one. There may be more than one digital identity wallet per member state. All these digital identity wallets will be interoperable among them, and all of them will respond to a single set of specifications. They will be based on the reference implementation that I've mentioned before. The reference implementation of the wallet is open source, and the code and the reference and the architecture and architecture and reference framework are both available on GitHub. So at the end of my presentation, you will see a QR code where you can read or scan, and it will take you to our website where you will find links to all this information also. So that's the situation, or that will be the situation, because wallets will be issued during 2026 by member states. There is a mandate that all member states must have issued wallet to their citizens or put them at the disposal of their citizens by the end of 2026. So where we are right now, finalizing the legislative process, because after the entry into force of the regulation, there was a mandate for implementing secondary regulation. More than 25 implementing acts have been adopted since November 2024. We are currently finalizing them, and we expect that by the end of the year, all the secondary regulation will have been adopted by the Commission. We are evolving the wallet technical specification. The slide says that we have just published the version 2.5 of the architecture and reference framework, but I think that we have just published or are about to publish the version ARF 2.6 with some additional functionalities. And also we will publish by the end of this year the final production ready release of the prototype of the wallet reference implementation. So what we have done also is to test this reference implementation that I have just mentioned in large-scale pilots. A first round of pilots have already been completed. There were 4 pilots that were run for the last 3 years, and 2 new pilots focusing on very specific areas in banking, payments, digital travel credentials, and the use of the wallet for businesses have just been launched or are in the process of being launched these days, this same week in Paris yesterday and the day before yesterday. One of these large scale pilots was launched, and there is another one. Sorry, I forgot the name. They are not yet familiar to me, but there are 2 pilots that are currently being launched. We're also working on a strategy of certification. All the wallets will need to be certified. First, responding to national schemes, but there is a common scheme under preparation, and all the wallets will need to be certified against this scheme. And aligned with the development of the technical specification, we have developed also a strategy for standardization. There is a standardization roadmap to support the efforts of the UDI wallet that we expect to be completed also by the end of 2025. We have interacted with the European standardization bodies, with EBSI and with CEN, for developing standards that were needed in order to make possible the communication and between the different elements of the wallet, or between the wallets and the relying parties, or among all these components of the wallet ecosystem. And finally, we've identified a set of use cases for which we are developing manuals of use cases. Some of them have already been published, like the one for mobile driving licenses, but there are many other use cases we are working on. So you have in this slide a very brief or very summary explanation of a presentation of what are the main areas in which we foresee a role for the wallet, from access to government services to signature of contracts, applications for age verification, payments, health-related application, mobile driving license, I've already mentioned. And we have also surveyed what are the main expectations of member states regarding these use cases. And you can see here in this slide that there is a huge interest in some of the use cases. For instance, the mobile driving license. It's an interest that exists not only inside the EU, but also in third countries. Also, a huge interest in facilitating age verification, and also in other use cases that you can see there: health, e-prescription, identification of patients, and all these things. So, as a summary of the wallet, I am going to show you some information on the large-scale pilots that have already finalized. They have tested the wallet in these specific use cases: payments, mobile driving licenses, health-related use cases, access government services, opening bank accounts, registration of telephony cards, organization ID, travel credentials, education, and social security. So that's what I wanted to tell you about the wallet. And now let's move to the part of trust services that are also part of the digital identity framework. When we talk about trust services, we think about electronic signatures immediately, but trust services are more than electronic signatures. Electronic signatures, electronic seals, electronic timestamps were already present in the previous digital identity framework in eIDAS 1. They refer to a range of electronic services that are designed to provide security, privacy, and reliability for electronic transactions. And the framework establishes the conditions under which these services must be provided in the European Union. So together with electronic signatures, you will see in the slide that we have, not we, but the regulation creates new trust services, such as the electronic attestation of attributes, that are pretty much related to the credentials described by José Manuel previously in his presentation. There are other services that can be also interesting, like the electronic archiving or the preservation of electronic signatures, electronic seals, or certificates for electronic signatures or seals. And an important one also can be the recording of electronic data in electronic ledgers. So these trust services are the ones that we are trying to integrate with the EU digital identity wallet and with the eIDAS schemes, and build around them the wallet ecosystem, or the European Digital Identity Framework ecosystem. And in order to finalize my intervention, I will speak a bit about how we about the possibilities that we envisage for international cooperation on the basis of the digital identity framework. I will be very brief in this, but try to explain to you what are our main plans. We have identified two possibilities. Really, there are three possibilities for international cooperation. One of them is around the EUDI wallet. The second is around trust services. But there is a third leg of this, that is international cooperation on standards for UDI wallets, or for wallets in general, and the standards for trust services, in which we have already opened a different thread for international collaboration. But if we stick to the trust services or the UDI wallet, I must say that for trust services, there is a provision in the regulation that establishes conditions for the mutual recognition of qualified trust services with qualified trust services provided in third countries. So we have an objective there of promoting mutual recognition of qualified trust services to create a global trust framework. We can acknowledge that trust services provided in third countries are equivalent to qualified trust services provided in the EU, and adopt a legal act in order to formalize that the recognition, the acknowledgement of that equivalence. This is something that has not been yet done, but which is in our plans, and we are going to start working on that very soon. When in fact what we have done with regards to trust services, we have designed a two-step approach in which in a first step we analyze and compare the electronic signature and seals framework from third countries with that of the EU, and try to align them with the collaboration of the authorities of the third country, and based on a reciprocal treatment by the authorities of the third country. And we have already put in production a third country's trusted list that allows for the validation of electronic signatures coming from abroad, from outside the borders of the EU. And there are some countries that have already been included in this third country's trusted list. It's the case of Ukraine or Moldova. We're already working, and works are very advanced with Egypt, for instance, with Albania or Bosnia-Herzegovina or Serbia in the Western Balkans. We are working also with some countries in South America, Uruguay, Brazil. But we're promoting this mutual recognition because our objective in this aspect is to create a global trust framework where trust services offered in different parts of the world are legally valid and interoperable among them. On the other side, on the possibilities that the EU Digital Identity Wallet offers, it's a bit more difficult because as it is currently designed, the wallet is limited for its use outside of the EU. The wallet relying parties must be registered in a member state, and that's a serious handicap for the use of the wallet outside of the borders of the EU. But we are happy to spread our model. As I mentioned before, both the architectural reference framework and the reference implementation of the wallet are open source, are publicly available. Anyone can take advantage of it for testing or for other purposes. And we are happy to share that information and to support it. We are also happy to explore technical interoperability with similar solutions or complementary solutions from other third countries. And we are doing that on the basis of pilot projects on test environments. We are not doing real life pilots because of that limitation that I have explained at the beginning of this part of my explanation, that the wallet is limited for its use outside of the EU. And I think that's all I wanted to share with you today. But if you have, you need more information, or you have curiosity for knowing more about the EU digital identity wallet that we are developing, you can visit our website and, as the slide says, discover how the wallet works. Thank you very much.